So if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking of living in Noho in Manhattan. Noho is kind of one of those subtle neighborhoods that a lot of people don't talk about. Noho is a small neighborhood in between Greenwich Village, East Village, and Soho. So I feel like it kind of gets forgotten about between all those neighborhoods that get a lot of publicity, I would say. But I actually do Noho. And I also feel like when people are in Noho, they kind of think they're in one of those other neighborhoods. So they don't even realize that they're in a separate neighborhood called Noho. So what does Noho stand for? And why is it so similar to Soho? Noho is literally just saying north of Houston Street, while Soho stands for south of Houston Street. A lot of people don't even know that that's what that's referring to. It's also how you know you're going into Noho, because if you're walking uptown and passing Houston Street, you could be in Noho. So that's how you know where you are. There is lots of pre-war construction in this neighborhood, and also high-rise buildings here. And it definitely has a very, very different feel than Soho, because Soho is loft cast iron buildings, while Noho is definitely your more like standard Manhattan living with like more, I would say, like just your average apartments for the most part. But it's a really, really, really great neighborhood for public transportation. You can definitely catch a lot of different lines, and of course the buses, a lot of them run through there as well. So it's definitely not one of those neighborhoods where you have to worry about what public transportation you're going to take. You're always going to have so many options there. This is kind of a strange fact about Noho. Underratedly, there are so many fitness centers and gyms in this neighborhood. I actually do not know why, but every time I walk through Noho, I see like another fitness center or like some new trendy like gym opening up there. And that might be more of a recent thing. I'm filming this video in 2023, so that might be recent, but it's just interesting to watch because I'm like, wow, there's just so many gyms here. Like there's no excuse not to work out in that neighborhood. Let's just say that. I also think that Noho has really, really good dining options, and I don't think people talk about it enough. It's probably one of my favorite neighborhoods to dine in. Like a lot of my top spots are in Noho. Recently, like last couple years, the first whiskey distillery in New York City since the Prohibition opened up in Noho. It's called Great Jones Distillery, and I actually go there all the time. I absolutely love it. So I highly recommend you check that out. It's like a really, really cool thing that happened in New York City because it's the first whiskey distillery to open up since the Prohibition. Like how crazy is that? You know, it is kind of like a piece of history that just happened in Noho. So I definitely think that that's something you should check out. Even if you're not a whiskey person, they do have other options as well, and they also have dining. So it's just a really cool place to be. So overall, I do think that Noho is a really great neighborhood, and a lot of people, like I said, it kind of gets forgotten about because so many people think that they're in one of those other neighboring neighborhoods when they're actually in Noho. I just think it's a really cool place, and it's not far from Washington Square Park. So NYU is kind of like in and around there as well. So you do get some NYU traffic, but I really love spending time in Noho. So again, I don't like to share my opinions too much in these videos, but it's a neighborhood that I highly suggest. Now, I would say that a good thing about Noho is that you are near so many of those other like trendy neighborhoods that people want to be in, but at the same time, it's not as much tourist traffic going directly through Noho. It's kind of just people who live, work, or are kind of like locals in New York City. If you want to live near those other neighborhoods, but don't want to be directly in those neighborhoods, Noho could be a really good option for you. So I hope that helped you figure out some things that you need to know before moving to Noho. Now, I want to know in the comments, are you moving to Noho? Would you even ever live in Noho? Or did you not even know about Noho before this video? Like always, I love hearing from you guys.